There is a new Polyend Tracker firmware update. Let's get right into it as soon as I shout out today's patron, and that shout out goes to GrooveTwig. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. So yeah, this one kind of came out of nowhere, at least from my perspective. As someone who pretty regularly communicates with Polyend, this just kind of dropped, and it's a welcome upgrade, I should say. It really only adds one major feature, but this update is available for all of the trackers, including the original one. So that would be the original Polyend Tracker, the Polyend Tracker Mini, and the Polyend Tracker Plus. The firmware version is going to be different for each one. I think the original tracker is on like 1.8 now, and it's just 1.2 for the Tracker Plus. Installing the update is pretty simple. Just put it on your SD card, go into Config, go down to Firmware, and firmware update right there. I've got it on my SD card, and it'll do its thing. How's everybody doing out there? You doing okay? It's getting cold here in the Pacific Northwest. Starting to get cold at night. I welcome it though. I enjoy the colder weather. Hey, here we go. Okay, we are back. The firmware has been installed. We are now upgraded. And before I get into the big music making feature that's been added, I do want to check out something in the config menu, because now I believe we get the Polyend 10th anniversary theme. If we go to General, Display Theme, Enter, yeah, now we have the Anniversary Edition, which apparently has higher contrast, and there's just a couple like little changes. I'm not really sure. I don't know. It does look a little different, I guess. I think this is from the fancy new like all metal Polyend Tracker Mini. I don't know. Just higher contrast. I'm not really sure. I'm not too good at this kind of thing, but we have it now, so that's cool. There are also a ton of bug fixes in this update. You can check them all out on the Polyend website, but the main feature we have now is called Focus Loop. So I've already got some instruments loaded in here. Let's just put something down. We'll put a kick in. There's C right there. We'll just go ahead and make this a 16-step pattern. There we go. Let's grab a snare drum over here. Okay, cool. Let's grab a hi-hat. Okay, really simple pattern. For instruments, I've just got some bass one-shots here. That's pretty cool right there, but I think I want a longer pattern. So I'm just going to simply duplicate pattern, and now it's 32 steps long, and let's go 64. So now we have a 64-step pattern, and I can look through here and, see where all our notes are and things like that. Now, what if I want to start making some variations within this pattern, right? So I want to change up, let's say, the notes in our second time through. So normally if I wanted to listen to that, I would select everything, right? And then I'd select the steps that I want to listen to. So I select steps 17 to 32, and then I hit preview. Then if I wanted to hear it again, hit preview again. But now we have Focus Loop. So I've got that selected. I can simply hold Shift and hit play. Now if you notice, it's actually repeating back to step 16 whenever it gets to the end of our loop there, which is so cool. Now, if you stop it, you will have to go back in and reselect everything, but it's so cool because it means we can now make our adjustments while the pattern is running and hear those reflected in real time without having to keep hitting preview, keep having to reselect everything. We can just do this once, and then let's make some changes to the bass track. Cool. And just like that, we've got a variation. Right? So it just gives you a little nicer way of working, and you don't have to select everything as well. We could come down here and just listen to the last bit of our kick and snare drum right here. What do I want to do here? Let's go copy, paste it. Let's put in a little velocity modifier here. Let's copy our kick here and put something else too. Cool, now I can hit play to stop it, and then shift home to go to the top, and then hit play. And I want to adjust something on the bass in the last measure, so let's see. Yeah, we'll start from right there. There we go, a little bit of a sinister vibe at the end in the bass part. Yeah, that's cool. And that's pretty much it. It's not a huge update or anything like that, but it's one people have been really asking for, just because while the preview function is nice, especially kind of on like a per step basis, or just for maybe, you know, 1 or 2 steps in like a melodic line, you could do this. As soon as you hit an arrow to move around, it would deselect what you had. So let's say we wanted to select like the first 16 steps and loop it via the preview. As soon as I wanted to go adjust something in the melody on track 5, well, unfortunately, we've deselected everything. So with Focus Loop, with Shift and Play, you're no longer required to reselect everything. You can just let it play and make your adjustments in real time without losing your loop points until you hit play to stop it. Pretty cool little update, in my opinion. Takes a groovebox that was already fantastic and just gives it one more reason to use. And the fact that this is on the original Polyend Tracker, I think is so awesome. I love that they are still updating that device. That's like 5 or 6 years old now at this point? That's pretty cool. And just because we do often look at gear prices here on this channel, I just looked up what a used Polyend Tracker costs, the original model, and I see one on Reverb right now for $280 US. So that's just a wild price. That's a steal. Someone should scoop that up. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.